All right, so let's switch gears to tonight, though. Oh, actually, yeah, let's switch gears to tonight. And you got the Gators, you got the Cougars. I think we're in for a competitive 40-minute game. I think it's going to come down to the final 5 minutes. It's just tough to kill this Houston team off. They are a villain they're like Michael Myers, man. You know, you think he's done, all of a sudden it comes around with the knife and, you just can't kill these guys. But Florida is a dog too, man. Clayton Jr. and this Florida team, they did a really nice job rallying back to beat Auburn. I got to stick with the Cougars. I'm taking Houston tonight, but who you got?
I want to ride the Cougar bandwagon with you.
Let's do it.
Bad.
Hop
so
on.
bad.
We don't have to disagree
I know.
Go with your soul. Go with your heart. I mean,
okay.
It's kind of like, I think Florida's favorite, right? Florida.
I believe it's favorite. I'll be honest with you, D-Mac. My biggest fear with this game, and I love Houston and the Cougars, but Walter Clayton Jr., man, the last 2 games he's had, the tear he's been on, this is like a Kemba Walker run if Steph Curry was the point guard, and so when I look at this matchup, it's like, I think Houston might be the better overall team basketball. I would give them the edge. But, and this is maybe just because I also want to pull this take off, I do feel like, D-Mac, if Walter Clayton goes out there and puts on another virtuoso, I think he cemented himself as a top 10 pick, maybe a top 8 pick. Right now, he's probably slated 15 to 30, but I think he goes out there. I think he's going to have 25 plus, shoot at least 4 or 5 threes. He's going to be electric. I think he has put himself in the top 10 conversation. He is a Steph Curry, Dame Lillard hybrid, and I don't know if he's going to be those players in the National Basketball Association. But what I've seen from him in a college standpoint, he's the closest thing I've seen in college. And with that being said, I'm going to go with the Gators. I'm going to go with the Walter Clayton Jr. virtuoso. I think he's going to etch himself in the college basketball lore. But if the Cougars do win, I will be satisfied regardless. But I am going to take the Gators.
The number I'm looking for tonight is 25. If Walter Clayton Jr. scores 25 points, the Gators are cutting down the nets.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a tall task. I think Houston's going to throw everything at him. They're going to throw bodies at him. They're going to say, you know what? Anyone else beat us. If we hold Clayton Jr. to 18 points and another dude goes crazy, then we can live with that. Will Richard, he's another guard that they have, and Houston, they've done a really nice job in kind of getting guys on the other team, especially guards, to have their off nights. You look at this entire tournament, Robert Wright from Baylor and Braden Smith from Purdue, Tyrese Proctor, the game that we just saw, they've had success slowing guards down with their suffocating defense. So I think Clayton Jr., he needs a Will Richard to step up, make shots to kind of keep them balanced a little bit. The Gators just can't be a one-man show. And Richard, he's the one guy that he needs to step up. I mean, he's the only guy in Florida's starting backcourt that has had 3 single-digit games in their past 5. And that's not going to do it in this one because we saw what happened. Cooper Flagg, he got worn down because he was the only guy that was willing to step up and take and make shots. Only guy that made a shot in their final 10-plus minutes of the game. You cannot have that. And I think with the Gators, the thing that I think they need to work on too is just not fouling guys. I mean, that Houston team, they step to the line and their 58% shooters are making free throw shots. Yeah. And in 9 of their last 11 games, Florida's given up 22 free throws. So that kind of scares me. And then you look at this Houston defense and just how suffocating they can be. If the Blue Devils were exhausted after the rest and playing their first game, I mean, Florida played a tough game against Auburn. Yeah. I think that fatigue is going to be a factor down the stretch. I mean, that's going to be the new recipe if Houston wins. It's, hey, forget going to the gym, go to the track.
We're going to wear you down.
Just run, and we'll shoot a couple shots in the next couple hours. But on Houston's side, I think it's really interesting too, because if anyone's going to slow down Walter Clayton Jr., it could be Houston. Yeah. They're physical on both sides of the ball. They make everything hard. Nothing comes easy for them. And it's just a hard-nosed style of play. But their defense, kind of the way they're designed, they do give up 3-point shots. Yeah. They give you the opportunity to shoot those shots. So will Florida make their threes? I think the guy needs to step up for them, Juwan Roberts. And we saw what he did going up against Cooper Flagg, boxing him out, drawing that foul, making the 2 free throws. But he has been pretty inconsistent for them, and they're going to need some guys to step up too in the paint for them to get that win. But I think it's going to be Houston tonight, man. I really do. I think it's kind of one of those things where you get a magical win like that, and it's like that win loses its significance if you lose. Right? I mean, right now, people like myself are calling it a Duke choke. You rightfully so are giving credit for Houston, which they're not going to get enough credit today with the national media. But if they lose tonight, it's just going to be about the Duke choke instead of what Houston did in that one. But they don't have any weaknesses. They really, really don't. They really, really don't. I see them getting that dub tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup. I'm all for it. I'm ready for a great game. And honestly, I do agree with you to some point as well. Like, if Houston does win this game, at least for Duke's fans out there, you can say, well, we lost to the national champions. You know, we lost to the best team in college basketball. I do think if Houston goes out there and loses to Florida, I do think a lot of the narrative will end up falling on Duke because it will be talked about as a choke job, even though it is a bit of a choke job. But I think it'll be inflated due to the results of this matchup. But I truly feel like Walter Clayton is pretty much cementing his stamp that he's an NBA player and he's a lead guard at the next level.
And I think what Houston's going to do, and I'm pretty sure they did this after they celebrated that win, is they looked at what Auburn did to Clayton Jr. in the first half. I think you're going to see them hard hedging and going over ball screens and blitzing to get the ball out, because in the first half, you saw what they were doing, man. I mean, they were blitzing him on ball screens. They were forcing the ball out of his hands. And then the second half, he's like, no, I'm going to get to my left hand. I'm going to start making shots. Great. It's tough to keep great players down for 2 halves, 4 quarters, 40 minutes, 48 minutes. Clayton Jr., though, he could have that magic sauce, right? And that's kind of what I'm worried about on there. And I go Houston 72-68. 72-68 in this one. Want to throw out a score just for funsies?
I'm going to go, I think it'll be a higher scoring game. I think these are definitely 2 teams who can go, if the game dictates that, I think they can both go up there and run up the count. I'm actually going to go 75-80 Florida.
75-80 Florida. I like that. Okay, so before we switch gears, we're going to run down really quickly